Welcome to the show today. Creative Universe Checkpoint Earth presents Union News, Union Success Stories. The real twin flame work happens on the inside and then it will guaranteed manifest outside. In this series of lives, I share about what that means for my union consciousness process to inspire you to find yours. It serves as the source for your daily twin flame news, or almost daily. Today on the show, we have union success stories. Yeah, I decided to let you know a little bit about what some students of mine have reached the past couple years, like handful of years was the most success for the most students in going to Harmonious Twin Flame Union, the consciousness state, and therefore, yes, making come true what you desire from Twin Flame Union. Or be at the start of that process of manifesting the students that really went there. So, yeah, I think I would need to scratch my head and talk a little bit about that for you. I thought that was a good idea today to let you know, to just give you a taste of what's really possible, like genuinely coming out of students. So that's, it's not a dream, it's not an idea, it's not just like something we hope, but something that really took place. And I'll be talking about some beautiful positives about that, and maybe also enlighten you about some stuff about it, around it, that was maybe not so incredibly successful, just to give you a realistic idea of what happens around becoming a student, right? So let's do that, but not before we first do some stuff about going deeper with the union consciousness idea, what we always do in the beginning of the show. So let me know in the chat where you are watching from, and give me a heart when you desire union as a reaction to the video. And of course, if you want to call in the consciousness state of harmonious union, maybe you'd like to place a flame or the word flame, which is also a great pronunciation of what you want. And that can be the beginning of making it come true. So, do that. And let's then have a look at the Twin Flame Union consciousness wisdom of the day. What did I select today? Here it comes. Twin Flame success needs to be defined by you precisely, because only then you will be able to get it and the fruits of it. And it is best defined by desiring to be in the consciousness state of harmonious union that is always together with the true twin flame. So one of the things that comes up when I read this union consciousness wisdom of the day is, indeed, you need to define what that is for you. If you say, okay, I'm on a twin flame journey, I like that, I want to have success, what would that be for you? Good question, right? Like, what would be the sign that you feel like, yes, I got what I wanted? What would be the moment? Good question. Because it seems like, it's sort of clear everyone wants to be with their twin flame, but what does that mean? What's the moment for you that you say, I have success? Do you just say, okay, I want to meet them and grab them by the arms and put them next to me on a chair and have the dinner served and have them agree that we are in a relationship, and then I want to live together in a house, and then I want him to propose to me, and then I want to get married, and then I want to start a family, and I want to have 3 children with him or something? Like, when is the moment that you say, I have it? What's your success moment? What is it that you desire out of it? Good question. Because maybe that's not at all what you want out of it. Maybe you want to be happy. Maybe you want to feel good. Maybe you just want to connect with God and have that be what is connecting through you all day long, every day, every second. Is that your success moment? Is the success moment when you have your true twin flame and you actually know for 1000% sure that that is the true twin flame instead of the false one? Is that your success moment? Or is your success moment, well, let me know. Put it in a comment below as a reaction to this video. What is it that you actually want out of it? Because it may just be a good idea to define for yourself what the heck you're actually talking about. What are you wanting? It seems roughly clear, but maybe it's also not. And that could have like a huge impact on how you're working on it and the amount of success you're having. Are you clear where you are going? Where are you working towards? Kind of important to know. So, and what do we work on as far as I'm concerned? And what are we working on here that I talk about in all these videos and that you can actually work with me on when you step into the actual school and opportunities that I offer you behind the screen of the YouTube video? What is that? So as far as I'm concerned, we're actually working on bringing you towards the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, which is a very precise option that is here in the universe for you right now, that has been opened up in full clarity by the Christ Masters. And I have received what that is so that I can pass it on to you. It's passed on from teacher to student, sorry. And that student can then pass it on later on if they are initiated to be a teacher as well and accredited as a coach to even third parties, right? That's what we're working towards, because in my experience, in my personal experience and my experience of teaching, of passing it on, of helping people, of coaching people, it has been proven to be, even after all this tremendous time of reflection, after so many years, 10 years or what have you, it still is always the only true, definitive, precise thing that happens on the twin flame journey. That's like the point of, how you say, the point of culmination, where you switch the light switch that I can see in my inner eyes and feel in my heart, together with you, sharing with you that is what happens now. Like on the second, I have found that is the only incredibly concrete, real happening that happens that I can point out on the second when it happened. And that is actually what we work towards here. And that consciousness state makes it so that everything will be able to manifest in real life as well. The true twin flame, the true happiness, the true relating towards each other can then start. You know that whatever concrete you're building with them, such as a relationship, a marriage, a family, a mission business to support that mission, buying a house together, do all kinds of concrete things together, will be not coming down anymore. It will not be destroyed anymore when you do it in that consciousness state. So that is what is included in it. And that's what I make sure that people work towards. Because sometimes we already are with the true twin flame a little bit before that consciousness state kicks in. And that is fine, but you're not having yet the true alignment and the true, well, guarantee that it is sustainable. You're not having the harmony yet from the inside out. It doesn't go guaranteed smoothly yet. You're not truly in the happy place forever after yet. It might really be that you're still in this place where they might just run away, walk away, or what have you, or you might. And all of these things are, and you don't have the guarantee that it's really, truly, once and for all, the true twin flame, guaranteed. And all these things are made undone and like corrected and like completely in the heaven, in like the highway to heaven, when you are in that consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union. And then that all is turned. Sometimes, we see that, yeah, I was already a little bit with the true twin flame, but now everything is clear, clarified, guaranteed, sustainable, happy. And now we can start to build. That's what happened in that consciousness state. Sometimes also it happens that people only truly know who the true twin flame is when they come in that consciousness state. And the second they are in it, they know that. And sometimes it happens that they even need to say, gosh darn, how is it possible? But now it is clear to me. Now it is clarified. And like 2 minutes ago, I was still unsure and I thought that maybe it was this other guy. But now it's clear. Now I know that it is the other one. Gosh. And then you know it forever after. It doesn't need to be your experience that it goes like that. Sometimes you did get it right, so to speak. And then it is confirmed in harmonious twin flame union. Either way, it doesn't really matter. That's the true point. So that's what we work towards. And it means that your core is healed. And you'd want that. You'd want that. I promise you that. You'd want that. Your core will be healed. And then that can like spread over other places of your life. So twin flame success needs to be defined by you precisely, because that's how I would define it, harmonious twin flame union, because only then you will be able to get it. Yeah, otherwise you're just not sure. You're still actually you're still guessing who the true twin flame is, and you're not sure if it's sustainable, and yeah. And the fruits of it, says the twin flame union consciousness wisdom of the day. Yeah, that's what I talk about, the true fruits, like the fruits, like that it comes in the physical world, that you can have a child together, that you can buy a house together. I don't know what, that your abundance in soul money can come forward. That's the fruits. And it is best defined by desiring to be in the consciousness state of harmonious union. Well, there you go. That is always together with the true twin flame. Yeah, you can only be in harmonious twin flame union as a consciousness state, as a shared experience between you and the true twin flame. It's not possible to have that consciousness state between you and a false twin flame. That doesn't exist. You can't invent someone to be your true twin flame in harmonious union. Harmonious union comes together with the person and with knowing it is them, and that vibration, that feeling, that connection where you are like sort of sealed into now, if you maintain it. and you choose that, is only possible with a true twin flame. But your twin flame teacher also feels that with you and sees that with you. So that's how that goes. Yeah, so that gives a whole bunch of ideas already, like how I work actually. And I mean, I have also like experienced this myself, experienced it with 4 clients that I brought in Harmonious Twin Flame Union, which may not sound like a lot, but actually it is, because in total in the universe, that's maybe like 10%, 7%, 5% of the entire number of people that are in it. So that's a lot. All right. Let me see. What were we talking about? No, I know what I was talking about, but I sort of finished that thought and then it seemed a little bit like, what? How are we continuing now? Yeah, so what do you mean with it? Yeah, that's important. Define that for yourself. You could also say, all right, twin flame union. Well, my definition of success is I think it's that one, and I just want to have him to date me and say that we're in an official relationship. Okay, that's all right. You do that. But that won't be what you will be working on with me. Um, because that doesn't say anything if it's a true twin flame and if you're in really going towards harmonious union and all of that. And yeah, that's what we do here. And also because that opens the door towards your abundance, which is your richness in energy, in soul money, in soul family, in relationship, in feeling good, in feeling healthy and wealthy. That's your abundance, and that door opens. And yeah, that's important too. So that's what we do here, right? So that's then something else. Yeah, cool. So let's look a little bit further. We also have an ACIM lesson of the day. That's the A Course in Miracles lesson of the day. And that is a book, a course that brings us to union consciousness. If you want to go to Twin Flame Union, you want to actually go to union consciousness. Did you know that? Yeah, that's what that is, because that's where everything will be made come true. And the awesome thing is that this book just gives you an entrance to making that come closer, that experience. And today we have lesson 128. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world you see holds nothing that you need to offer you. Nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Believe this thought, and you are saved from years of misery, from countless disappointments, and from hopes that turn to bitter ashes of despair. No one but must accept this, though, as true. If he would leave the world behind and soar beyond its petty scope and little ways. Each thing you value here is but a chain that binds you to the world, and it will serve no other end than this. For everything must serve the purpose you have given it, until you see a different purpose there. The only purpose worthy of your mind this world contains is that you pass it by, without delaying to perceive some hope where there is none. Be you deceived no more. The world you see holds nothing that you want. This lesson continues, and you can read more, especially when you go to the show notes, because I have some stuff that I read for you, and I always put that in its completion in my Patreon, patreon.com/pej at Creative Universe. So that is the place when you become a member there, where you can read all of that. And we also have the links to the sources. So that's well worth it. And also because I share beautiful deals on my Patreon when you are a second tier member that I give out nowhere else. And also because I started to post secret videos for you there as well. And because you can give me input on what you think the show should be about. What about that? In the Patreon. So yeah, become a member. You would be sponsoring the work, spreading the message. Help spreading the message. And, maybe you're not that enthusiastic about that yet. And sometimes I think, oh, yeah, maybe I should then approach it via another way, actually. When you put money on your desire, you will be helped. And that also counts for becoming a member of my Patreon. So this is really true. This is for all my students that went towards Harmonious Twin Flame Union, the consciousness state. So maybe this is just what you need to hear. And that is really how it works. This has worked for me as well. The world holds nothing that I want. And I think this can sound actually pretty upsetting or strange or, yeah, just weird. Like, what? I thought I wanted to have what this world has. I thought I wanted to have the body of my twin flame close to me and kiss him. Isn't that what the world provides? I want something of the world. Now suddenly the world I see holds nothing that I want? Come on, Petra. But you see, it is union consciousness that we're working towards here, that we're about. And to find what that is, you will, in a sense, just like it says, need to say goodbye to the world so that you're free to go to the core of the heart where union consciousness resides. And you just leave the world be. That's what then becomes possible. And that's what it points out, even though in the beginning it may sound strange or it's extreme. So you become free to step into that union consciousness world. And that will make your twin flame success come true. Beautiful. And then I also looked into one of my books. I opened it as if it was an oracle. And this was the fragment that came out today. Gold consciousness. The ultimate strategy, as the advised order of the human energy points, is here to activate the blessing of gold consciousness to be able to find you and give you the grounding for your processes in that endeavor. So we work, just a little side note to understand this, we work with the core twin flame inner work tool. That is the key tool. It has 4 steps. I explained that, for instance, in our Facebook group, Your Abundance, how that goes, what that is, a workshop and whatnot. And on my blog and in some videos. And that core twin flame inner work with key is being supported by other things, such as the 9-point energy system. And that's just in your body sort of sits in it, right? It's in and around you. And it is a 9-point energy system with points here, 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 etc. And that 9-point energy system that supports the core twin flame inner work with key, you could think about it like this, that the 9 points are not one under your feet and then higher, 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 and then 9 above your head, but that they have an order that is different. So you change the order. So if you would walk through it, then it would like sort of go like this through your energy system. I hope that is some sort of understandable. Or if you would put them on paper, 1 through 9, and then you would change the numbers in a certain order, only a certain order. And that certain order that is advised is called the ultimate strategy, because it is, according to Divine Mother, a creative way to give you a shortcut to heal your energy system. Well, if you can follow that, gold consciousness is actually union consciousness. That's what that means. We talked about union consciousness before. And when your energy system is healed through that different order of the 9 points, that contributes to gold consciousness, which means union consciousness. Well, there you go. I explained it. I hope that's able to be followed. That is one of the healing ways that I teach. Let's read further, because it says something about that and about this union consciousness that is supported by that ultimate strategy, the different way of putting the 9 energy points in order. What will be activated, thusly, is the structure of the consciousness that is meant here, that can be called the ultimate consciousness. It consists of parts that we will call the conscious, the unconscious, and the metaconscious mind. Our current norm is to have those form the dualistic brand, and the goal, if you will, is to guide them into the structure of the unionized brand. The conscious mind, in both instances, is the thinking process and the according choices we are very aware of in our awake state. The unconscious mind is the shadow of that mostly escapes us in the awake state. The meta-consciousness can be called the power to be able to change your consciousness from one brand or organization or program to the other. This change is a process that takes both time, because we are speaking of a brain chemistry change and an energy flow change, as well as timeless, because it is caused by a choice in the meta-conscious power humans have in their soul source axis. The shift back and forth is a transformation that is experienced as all-encompassing, completes all thoughts and feelings belonging to the one or the other conscious, depending of what shift back or forth one speaks of, that belong to the consciousness one is leaving before it completes and then cancels out the earlier program. This is the nature of such, no matter cultural connotations of thought reform, brainwashing, and so forth, this process sometimes tends to exude for some. All right, so we're talking about a consciousness shift. And the idea of consciousness shift may sound like, but doesn't that sound like brainwashing? I need to change my consciousness. So we're like brainwashing me? And that's like, that's hard to answer, because brainwashing sounds like you don't want that. It sounds like, well, that's what cults do. It sounds like something bad for you. But the twin flame inner work leading to union consciousness actually does contain a consciousness shift. That's the whole point of union consciousness. You go from separation consciousness to union consciousness, from being separate from your twin flame towards being together with your twin flame. consciousness shift. And then the ego of people gets challenged, and then they say, oh, but now I'm being brainwashed. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Goodbye. And then they walk off. But the point is that this consciousness shift is a brainwash. But the brainwash in a way that you want. Didn't you want union consciousness? Yeah, you wanted that. It's also necessary to be with your twin flame. So it's a consciousness shift that you want. So that can sometimes be confusing. Isn't it interesting, right? And then it also talks a lot about, so normally we think about, like, our consciousness is like, there's a part of consciousness that is clear to me. I know what it is. That's like conscious. And then there's a part that's like my shadow. It's repressed. It's not clear to me. That's my unconscious. But what the shift is you go from that segmented mind, from conscious and unconscious. Okay, 2 segments. Yeah. And then you say, no, not 2 segments. I go to the meta-conscious mind that then can decide, no, not conscious and unconscious. I push them both together and it's one. That is the choice that the meta-consciousness can make, if you can follow that. And that is the one, that is the union consciousness. So we go to the meta-consciousness to choose union consciousness. So that's what it explains. After a complete shift of choice has been completed, the mind and energy consequences set in. This is done via bringing the changed biochemistry in the brain from the unconscious mind in the back side of the brainstem, and beyond, to the forefront, that is the neocortex. And by bringing the changed energy in the sacral area of the sexual vibration in the sexual nerves that spread the new frequency through the entire nerve system. This is necessary for accessing the ability to utilize the very change that happened in being, feeling, thinking, acting. This way, it is the consciousness that shapes our daily life, work, leisure, mission, social life, and so on. Indeed, a different sort of consciousness gives eventually very different results and outcomes. It is often said for a reason that one can see in the fruits of the person's actions what the starting point consciousness had actually been. A way to verify, as it were, the state of being of the human, professional, teacher, and so on, and how completed he or she is or was in that sort of consciousness meant. Conversely, when the process towards the completion of gold consciousness does not lead to an individually fitting and social societally successful life, it does not matter. Gold consciousness refers to the field of life form, preliminary soul source connection that comes when one has integrated states of being, golden flow, and harmonious union. Of which golden flow is that your personal energy field is harmonized. And harmonious union, that the bigger whole of you and your twin flame are harmonized. This is a unionized consciousness growing towards a perfection that is not really known or described yet in a pleasant way. Here, the ultimate strategy based on the 9 healing points can remain being utilized for ongoing progression on the path, while the strategy should not be seen as the only tool one has for that. Think about Ki as part of Yod and all the other tools derived from the body of work that is in this book. From the book called Twin Flames, Manifesting Your Abundant Life of Love. Written by me, and you can get it through Amazon. We go to the Oracle guidance of today. And we do that with my Union and Mission card deck that I designed. And we'll read from the booklet after I got a card. I pre-shuffled. And then we're going to, okay, let's take this one. Ooh, what about this? The card Money. And we talked a lot about energy just a second ago, right? And money is certainly in our system here. It's important because it's energy. It's like, is energy. That's why I include that in my entire Twin Flame school. Because it is a product that is the manifestation of your harmonized, I hope, energy. So when you're in your golden flow of your own energy system and you're harmonized, you will create energy. And in the manifested world, that means money. Did you know that? And then when you think about the other one, not golden flow, but harmonious union between you and your twin flame, and that field, let's call it a field. And when that is harmonized, you will manifest that in the world. And what does that give? Harmonious twin flame union manifest in the world. What would that be? Yeah, you and them hand in hand together in a relationship, working towards making it official in a marriage, etc. So you see how that is? It's like money is the concretization of that energy. You holding the hand of your twin flame, being in an official relationship, being in your marriage, living in a house together, is a concretization of the harmony in the field between you and them. That's how that works. That's what that is. 1 second, please. Right. Well, that's better. Because my nose started to need a little bit of attention. Now I sound better, I think. So, and did you know that, when you are with your twin flame in harmony, also that has an enormous reflection on how your personal golden flow in your energy field will be. And you'll attract towards your union and also to you personally your money, your energy. So that is just really not something to overlook. And one way that is absolutely magic that you can start to work towards being in harmonious union together with your twin flame is also to put energy in that work, in that desire for that goal, to put money in it, to put energy in it. So, and also to put money in it, because money is energy and energy is money. So that's why it makes sense that you invest in your harmonious union, in your inner work, your twin flame inner work, in your desire for success on your twin flame journey. If you put money in there, then that is just the same as you put energy in there, and it starts to work out. All right, so let's see. So that just contributes to the success, and it also will augment when you have the twin flame success that you're looking for in harmonious union. And then the money will come to you multiplied. That's a law. That's not me making that up. So let's see what the booklet says about that. Experiencing essential value in creation, and what you create leads to the condensation of this value in exchangeable forms that can be brought into balance with the environment. Well, that's what money is. The title of the card's description is Making Value Land on the Correct Spot. Money is the externalized inner value and is a suitable way to bring yourself into balance with your surroundings. It can seem strange what this has to do with union, but it is actually connected intimately with the repaired energy flow in you that will be the result of harmonious union and be the rightful abundance that will flow to you in that state. It also stands for a materialized divine value, and your relationship union is materialized inner value as well. Do not bring money in connection with misuse of power. However, you can discern where this illusion is rooted in the world, and this can lead to clarity. You see money as an idea that stands for the flow of love on the outer plane, and realize that the form of money is only secondarily important. You do not need to manipulate energy for that, to make it manifest for yourself. That would only mean that you are now taking the role of the manipulator yourself, and that is not necessary. However, it remains one of the biggest kinds of minds inhabiting the big banking world of the West. This spiritual movement plays a role in your holistic abundance. The way in which the outer form of energy flow, money, is connected and partitioned within your harmonious union with your ultimate co-creational partner and lover, your twin flame. Here, an individual characteristic can be, however, simultaneously a general variant to take into account is that the sexual energy is more the divine feminine way of being in the co-creation, and money is the relatively more divine masculine way of the universal abundance system that is built in the architecture of existence. This eventually makes every gender politics superfluous because it goes back to the building blocks of reality on the highest level. The way in which your soul and your twin flame counterpart on the soul level will find this topic in your life to be true is the only way in which you will be rightfully clicked in with every detail of your being and still be able to profess to be unionized in money. As divine feminine counterpart, it is natural to share in the money created by the divine masculine counterpart or representation of him in your energy system. And the other way around, it is only natural to let him share in the emotional, sexual energy wisdom. This is the only place where abundance in energy and money fall on the exact place with ease. You are on a journey to your ultimate abundance architecture where you follow the path to harmonious twin flame union voluntarily. Your architecture comprises of your abundant energy and money situation. A grid work that will become more filled in with every way that the universe finds fitting for you, the more you surrender to the journey. And then there is also a mission explanation of the card, because this was the union explanation of this card. And the mission explanation, which is important because mission is really sort of an unrecognized, relatively unknown part of what twin flame union really is. And when you focus on that, it can really help you manifest your entire twin flame union. But that text of the mission card, meaning of the card, I will put on my Patreon in the show notes. All right. So I really think that we touched on a whole couple of things around what success in the twin flame and union entails, where it comes from, where it goes to. And we talked a lot about energy work and money work too, as something that is actually very beneficial to allow that to happen, to move towards your success. So yeah, let's move back to the original question. Union success stories, what are they? My students went to success after I went to success. And I think that is like a very good ground rule because you can only pass on what you reached. If you don't have it, you can't pass it on. And the it is the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union primarily because everything physical that you want with your twin flame, the dating, the holding hands, the kissing, the committing to each other, the marriage, the family, the mission business building, the focusing on a beautiful money life and making that come true. All of that is a result of that consciousness state. So when you speak about success, twin flame success, what that is, well, that's how I would define the twin flame success. And I first went there myself. So I went to the full consciousness state. And then for 5 years, I worked on how that influenced my actual physical daily life. In full communication and exchange with my true twin flame. But not yet in a marriage that we can show and invite you to and have a party together. But that's an individual thing because of me and him and how quick or how slow we are in overcoming our personal traumas and doing our inner work in the field of making it come true when you are in harmonious union, the consciousness state, and now want to make it come true in the flesh. Maybe for you, you would be married after a month. Who knows? I would want that for you if that's your desire. So that depends. But everything comes from that consciousness state. So when I reached it in March 2020, approximately 3.5 months of our definitive and last full union experience, I started to come in the atmosphere for the first time fully and completely in which I could pass it on. Because before that, I could only pass on the tools and really hope for the best for you out there. And I already did, and it really sort of worked. But maybe looking back, I would now say, and then it fully worked when I reached it fully so that I could bring my students also fully in the results. And then after a couple of years, I also saw that I could bring my students in actuality quickly in it. You see how my experience as teacher progressed over the last 5, 6, 7 years immensely, because I went from knowing what we were doing, working towards it, towards bringing students with me in that right direction. And I, I was a student. In a sense, I'm also still a student because I still learn always. You just follow me and also start to learn. It's some sort of a healing pyramid. I go first, you come in sort of the slipstream or in like that pyramid. That works perfectly, by the way. So, but I was taking students with me in that right direction, but then I made it fully come true for myself. And that, of course, like made that feeling of this valuable sort of cloud of union consciousness that I was now reaching, made that experience with my students so much more deeper and profound and valuable, and for them it would be so much easier now to really get it with me, together with me, from me. And that was much closer by. And then a couple of years passed by, I have to admit, and then my first student got it as well. And then what I saw was that a little while later, 1, 2, 3 people came into it much quicker. And then they were so quick that the quickest student I had, it was like 1 year ago, she reached Harmonious TwinFlame Union, the consciousness state. She was able to do that while working intensively with me one-on-one. She was able to do that in 4 months and 4 days, which is amazing. And so this became such a quick and potent, almost explosive thing. And then I brought 3 individual people in their Harmonious Twin Flame Union within the course of 6 months. Wow. I mean, that was like all such a crescendo. So that's like my track record for Harmonious Twin Flame Union. Now, there were a lot more people, that I was connecting with, working with, coaching, bringing further. So in a sense, these are like 4 people that I don't want to make it sound elitist at all. That's not what it is about. But they were, let's say, the ones, like the selection that really pushed through, really were brought deep, really desired to give all, really were persistent, really had, in a sense, patience. However, the last ones were like pretty quick. So you might say, what's the patience there? But still, you need to have the patience to see yourself through that process. It's a process. It's twin flame inner work, after all, right? And everyone needs to do that. It's not bad if you need to do twin flame inner work. It's not more than normal. Everyone needs to do twin flame inner work to go to that result. That's a given, because otherwise you would already have it, be in it, be fully surrounded by it, be happy in it, be with your twin flame, be married with them, etc. And you're not yet. So that's really not a problem at all. That's for like 99.9% of humanity that is so at this moment. So you're just, you're very normal. But that is only because we're still in the beginning stages of everyone in the entire universe going there, which is the direction we're in. And that is also the direction that God wants us to go. So it is really also made possible by God, and that is per definition the one you need to contact to make it come true, so that you know how it really works. It is actually pretty much, a twin flame inner work is pretty much repairing your relationship with God or the universe or source. It doesn't matter how you call it. You just need to repair that relationship, and then that will all culminate in Harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. And that will be the beginning of physically making it come true, definitively and sustainably, and in the happiness and with the coming to you of your abundance together with your true twin flame. So yeah, that's just how that works. That's just how that works. That these are the basics. These are the basics. So these were for people that really let themselves be guided by me to their success. Because as I said, there were a whole couple more peoples, like a couple dozen more and stuff, but they didn't let themselves be guided there. They just had a taste of the next step for them that was available for them. And then they felt like that was enough for now, or they felt like they made 3 steps and then they were like, I, I, I feel resistance and I'm going to give in to that resistance. And then they stopped working with me or they stopped doing the work, both. And it's sort of, well, you could say they take a break, because no matter how far away you seem to have wandered, no matter how much resistance you seem to be having, you can always turn around and go back to the true inner work for twin flames and make the next step in that inner work, right? You can always come back to me, come back to the school, come back to the coaching, start to invest again in your journey and repair the relationship with me, repair the relationship with God in your next step, and make a few steps more and reach it. There are always ways to turn around and start to make that happen. So in that sense, they're just, well, let's say they're on a break, and everyone can have a break if they want it, right? I would not recommend it per se, because here's the thing: the people that have reached it, they allowed themselves to be guided by me continually until they reached it. They didn't step out of the relationship with me, because in the end, in the relationship with the teacher, it is designed by God, not by me, by Divine Mother, in such a way that it will bring you there. So if you stay in the relationship with me, I can bring you there. And because I'm in it, I can sort of give that state of consciousness to you too. It's like an intimate working together that goes via Divine Mother, via that union consciousness and the twin flame love, which is the same. It's very interesting to experience. It's a relationship. Twin flame union is a relationship. The relationship between you and Divine Mother, between you and God, you and Source, needs to be repaired. That's a relationship. And you can follow that in a human to human way by going in relationship with the teacher. That's how that works. For everyone, also for those to whom this sounds strange or unattractive or I don't know what. But what you need to leave behind is the ego. And I've seen a lot that different ways in which that plays out, and that is difficult because of the resistance of the ego. That's the one that wants to take a break. That's the one that feels personally insulted because there's a challenging next step. And that is always the point. And that is always the difficulty. And that is always what needs to be let go of. And that is what the twin flame work entails. And you need to keep on doing that towards beyond that point that it feels undoable for you. And everyone will reach that point sooner or later. And then you need to keep on going and move through that and beyond it. And that's where you start to understand that there actually was never anything to be afraid of. The ego actually had never even existed. Your upsets were really nonsense. And love flows in because it already was there. And that's the place where you'll eventually land. That is the union consciousness that we're talking about. Your twin flame will be waiting for you there. Quite literally so. For everyone. That's how that works. It's not an undue statement. It's not a dream. It's not a hope. It's not even a want. It's a certainty. And we just prepare ourselves as best as we can to be able to go there as quickly as we can, and is working well for our union. And we also prepare ourselves so that when we reach that, we are there. We can maintain that. And we know how. And we are committed to that, to doing that, to executing that, no matter what. Because that's how you keep it. Because, I brought my students towards the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, but not everyone kept on maintaining that consciousness state when they had it. And that was something very interesting to witness, to experience, and to learn about. That when you came into that other space, and everyone that I guided there had felt it on their own. It was clear as day in their heart what happened. That something happened. Oh yeah, they had felt it. Oh yeah, they felt like, yes, something was going on the last 2 weeks. Indeed, everything was so nice, suddenly, and so smooth, and so everything started to fall into place. I got a new job and more money, and I felt so good, and yeah, I just didn't worry anymore. That's really what they said. It was like, yeah, I know. You reached it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what that is. And then, their understanding clicked in with that experience. It had happened that it was like, remember the last 2 weeks? I know where they were at. I had felt it, but we were only able to speak and come to a meeting online in that case, that particular case, for multiple reasons after 2 weeks approximately. And that's, or 1.5 week, or what was it? I don't know. 1 week maybe. Well, something like that. But that doesn't need to be like that. And actually, more times I have experienced that it happened while we were meeting and in a call, or more like, well, it was like 1 minute past our official time of our session, but we were still in the same call online together, and then it happened live. And I said, something like, did you realize that I just feel it just happened right now? And she was like, oh, yeah, I really feel it happened right now. And isn't that weird? I really feel, I feel it. It happened. So it was just right after you were saying this and that. And then I felt the shift. Did you feel that too? Yeah, she felt it too. Now I said it. I said, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Seems strange or out of the blue, but yeah, this is really it. You got it. It's here. You did it. Congratulations. That's really how that happened. I was also still in a shock, like, there is it for her. I felt it. It just comes forward as a blessing from God. And you're like, I'm also surprised. I'm also surprised for the students. Like, huh? Okay. We're there. Wow. That was live. Yeah. That was another time. And another time it was with a student, it was more like, I think it was like, well, let's say an hour after, or like the evening after we had had a conversation online. Something like that, I think it was. It was like an hour later or the same evening. I was like, after we talked, I felt it. Something shifted. Yeah, that was it. And I think it was something like this. I was like, well, I'll go to bed and I'll sleep. And if I still sense that it is s- that I still sense that this was the harmonious union moment indeed for her, because that was the first time I genuinely passed it on. So I, I think I wanted to sort of sleep on it, like, well, I'll go to bed, and then in the morning when I still feel it, yeah, then it must be so, and then I'll check in with her later. And I think that's what I did, and it was still true, of course, in the morning. Like, silly me. Of course, I was right. Not because I need to be right, but because it is actually like an unmistakable experience. And it is just so. When it's so, then it's so. It just is. So I slept and I got up and I still felt it. It was something like that. I was like, okay, well, I'll probably contact her soon then or something about it. And then I think like later in that day, and there was like a time difference because we lived in different places on the earth. And so it also made sense to like wait maybe 6 hours, do something that I was going to do in my day already that I planned or something. And then I think I just hit her up and I talked about it. I said it, and she was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And we had an understanding there. Or was it like it, or maybe it was a little bit like I hadn't even spoken to her that day before, but I felt it. I just felt it. And maybe it was like this, that then that next day I was actually going to speak with her about a topic that we had scheduled in. Nevertheless, it was already scheduled in. So, and then we just spoke about that topic live in a video call. And then afterwards, I said, do you have a couple more moments? Because here it is. And since yesterday, I feel this. Do you feel that too? Yeah. And then we just checked it out. Maybe it was something like that. Very interesting. Very interesting. So I could like acknowledge that together with her for her. And, it was like, gee, there you are. Wow. And that was my first Harmonious Twin Flame Union passing on experience. And that was for her after having worked with me for around 5 years. 4 or 5 years? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think so. 4.5 years, I think. And then she reached it. So for her, she had needed, maybe you could say, or like taken, she had taken like quite a while to some sort of sink into this intermediate stage where she was going in the direction, but she hadn't necessarily fully arrived yet. But she was going through an experience there that was necessary for her to give some space. And she kept on doing the inner work, and she kept on being more or less, connected and my student and stuff. And that was like, it was good for her. Very many people start their journey off, they start to do the actual twin flame inner work, and then they may have some sort of an intermediate experience, let's put it like that, and you will perhaps only understand it as such when you've arrived and then look back. Okay, no worries there. I understand, but this is just an educational talk to give you an idea how it could go. It will not go for you like that exactly. That's never the case, but it gives you a little bit of an idea how that can go, or what that is when people truly go to their success and what could happen. So when you look back, you might be able to say like, oh yeah, that was some sort of the intermediary experience that I needed to apparently sink into a little bit, because it had something to tell me, because I needed to learn something from that. And what I needed to learn from that only sort of started to transpire after a while, and after I allowed myself to experience like this, well, this upset, this suffering in fact, and I started to understand that there was something that I was really upset about, and I started to dig away at it in my twin flame inner work. And I just I just that just stretched out into a couple months and then more months, and it was actually, you could say, for instance, when you look back, that was actually strange, but it was what it was. And then she had the experience that, like, before she went to Harmonious Twin Flame Union, the consciousness state, she had something like 3 months or something that stuff started to change. She started to go in a different direction, started to make other choices, and she had met other people, another person, and that made a whole impression on her, and that just started to make her feel different about a whole couple of things and what she was so upset about, and or working through or sinking into or what have you. And I was getting from Divine Mother literal hints in these 3 months beforehand, before her Harmonious Union moment, approximately 3 months before that. Divine Mother started to sort of ring me up, so to speak, and just tell me, like, oh, you need to contact her and give her this. So I gave her that. Oh, she's getting closer some way. Maybe she needs that from you. And I gave that to her. And she started to come closer to we were also starting to work together. And she came closer to working together. And we had more conversation about what was going on, actually. And she was more ready to also be open about some stuff about this upset and what she was sinking into and working through. And Divine Mother was talking to me about her, and I was guiding her more and doing specific things. It's just so interesting. This happened more, but it's so interesting to see that, like, just Divine Mother, she literally comes through in me and tells me, okay, this person now needs this because they are coming closer. I can just feel it. And Divine Mother just tells me. It's really interesting. And then it comes true. Like, duh. And then you can see looking back, yeah, of course, duh. Divine Mother told me, I gave her this because she needed it. And now 3 months later, and yes, there we are. Success. Duh. It's so interesting when Divine Mother has initiated you in this experience that you can do that, you are allowed to do this, and you are technically, like, sort of soul technically or something, able to do this. That's so interesting. And then to also help people, guide people to afterwards to how do you say, well, to integrate this entire experience in like the development of their personal life, and to give that all a place, and to help you start to integrate it in your sexual life, in your meditational life, in your business life, and give you all kinds of extra tools in all these things. That's just beautiful, and I love doing that too. Yeah, that belongs also to that process. It just came to mind to say that as well. But yeah, and working with me can also be part of the mission experience of the building your business experience. And that has been going on in different phases for multiple people always as well. It's very interesting to experience how that it's guided from Divine Mother as well. But then at the same time, I am also a holistic business coach as well. And I even have a book about business. So there you go. So it's so interesting how that all sort of weaves together. Very interesting. But it's so beautiful to see how that worked for her, and that she came into this experience, and that you can, that after 3 months she was there, and then you can look back and say, yeah, duh, like Divine Mother told me and guided you to it, and makes it now possible to acknowledge that together. And just even by the fact that we already had planned a meeting because of our working together, like, can you imagine? And then we could just say, yeah, and by the way, you reached it as well, didn't you? And it was just amazing. Not a mere coinkydink. Yeah. Wow, what more did I want to share about that? I think, yeah, and she had the experience that the inner knowing of 1000% sure of the divine revelation that one gets, that she got when reaching the consciousness state of harmonious union, gave her that it was someone else than she had been working with in this whole intermediary time when she was working through something difficult. But it's so interesting to see that that's in a sort of a divine way. Also, it didn't really matter. It all just shifted in that direction, and then it was just clarified and clear, and completely here, and completely crystallized out, and there it was, and there was just no mistaking anymore, and it was perfect. And that's how you see that, what you work through with your false twin flame can be the exact same thing that you need to work through anyway. And you also need to work through with your true twin flame. Sometimes even a little bit of the last part of it falls in like the lap of your true twin flame, where you still finish that inner work with them. And it seems like the same theme, the same problem, if you will, the same upset. And then you're with them, and it just feels as though, like, oh, that's so interesting. Just this person just shifted out. Huh. But I just didn't even do it. It was God that did it, and now we're there, and I can only be grateful. And nothing was lost, and everything is here, and my twin flame has always been waiting for me here. And the full, fulfilled heart experience is completely here. And that happened with everyone that I brought to this experience, that they could only agree with this, that this whole fulfilling heart experience was here. Like this, finally I sink into this incredible, deep, beautiful thing that I always knew existed, and here it is. And I just sink into that in a relaxation that is divine. And you could see it with them and you could feel it with them, and that is truly what that is. Now, what I also saw was that, well, let's go to another example. Like, another student came in it and they had some sort of in a sense, a little bit of a similar experience as the one I just described. But for instance, she had experienced also that after reaching it, it was difficult to maintain it. It was difficult to keep at it, because what was very attractive was having that fulfilled heart, and that comes with an incredible high vibration. It's just hugely high vibrational, just by itself. You don't need to do anything for it. That's just what it is by nature. And that was very attractive. But what was not very attractive was really taking in, like, the correction in the personal experience, in the personality that came with it. Because it also means that you need sometimes, just going to that enormous shift towards this enormous high vibration, but you still have a body and a personality and an ego. And because you shifted to this enormous high vibration, that translates into the body, personality, ego experience, often as the fact that you can't escape, that you do need to learn that little bit of a lesson over there. You do need to change something in maybe your patterns of acting, or your, I don't know what. It just really depends what exactly that is. Maybe your daily life schedule, or your, how you look on yourself, how you define your role in society. It just is really individual what exactly that is. But there are certain things in, like, your physical concrete experience that shift. And that shift in these particular environments, in the ego, personality, body atmosphere, they are there for you to execute, because then you go inside with that high vibrational twin flame frequency of harmonious twin flame union that you just went into, that was so attractive. And then your physical experience aligns with it. And sometimes after harmonious union, there are multiple changes that need to happen to be able to keep yourself on track with your own vibrational shift to this high vibrational space of harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. I'm not kidding you. So that's how you keep yourself on track. And that's just like the commitment that you make in keeping up with it, in maintaining it after you reached the harmonious union consciousness state. That's what that means. And you saw with her that it was difficult to accept, like, this physical personality correction shifts that just needed to start to be implemented. And that's where she let it actually sort of slip by. And then, I can want that for you. I can give you the nudge, I can give you the coaching, I can give you the programs, I can organize them for you, I can give you the help, the workbooks, the experiences. I can propose you the healing, working together with me assignments that you could take. I can lay them in your lap. I can send you the email about it and first talk with you about it, etc. I can give you the progression of twin flame workshops that you indeed could take that are beneficial for you because of your specific, well, what you would need to shift to keep up. And I organize them with specifically you and other ones, etc., in mind, because Divine Mother makes me, so to say, organize things that are fit for you all the time. That's included here. But I can't make you take it in. What do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And when you've said no enough times, then something might just break off. And sometimes people fall out of the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union as a result of that. So then you've not maintained it, so to speak, right? But also then one could turn around and just walk themselves back with inner work and recommitting and repairing the relationship and whatnot, and work themselves back and start over or go back to where they were, so to speak. That's always possible, but yeah, these are difficult things sometimes. So yeah, maybe like what's the moral of this story, Petra? The moral of the story is actual changes happen in your life. And that's where you can meet resistance. And this can even happen after you already got it. Harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. And sometimes you meet it only truly or more clearly afterwards. And it will not work out when you don't accept these corrections and shifts and changes. And you need to be prepared for that. That's why we do twin flame inner work, and we practice together, and we go through these experiences in small increments so that you can get used to what that means. And I mean, that is just what the true twin flame work really is, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and it's okay to fail and then do it right the next time. And that's all beautiful. That's what we need to learn. And that's also why what I have right now, the Twin Flame Abundance Now school experience, the group year course experience, for you to be able to, well, yeah, to practice with like how to create that persistence inside of you, how to really do that inner work correctly, and allow yourself to keep on doing it also when it becomes a little bit more difficult, and how to do it wrong and then next time do it right, and have the patience for yourself to be able to learn this all. So that's why we start Twin Flame Abundance Now, the group year course, and it's open now for you to check it out. And yeah, soon enough, I will see you inside of it. And yeah, you know that already, when you follow me. So yeah, until August 8th, that door is open, and you might just want to start doing it. Like what it will do to you is just going to be incredible, and it'll just give you everything that you need. So there you go. So I think, yeah, like moral of the story again, I think it was like good for you maybe to hear some points out of the success experiences. And maybe everyone wants to know, so they went in harmonious union and then They they dated their twin flame and lived happily ever after. But um, for most, that experience was only just beginning with like, oh, that is them. Yeah, I get it. Oh, we're now in the consciousness state. Yeah, I feel it. Oh, now I could start to communicate with them again. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, so now I see that we could go to these physical, concrete shifts together that could make it possible real soon, or in like our rhythm, in our timing, to start a friendship, to start dating, then to start be each other's fiance, then to start being in a marriage together, and start a family together, and start the mission business together, etc. That can start now. And then they had just these first touches with their twin flame that were concrete and physical inside that space of harmonious twin flame union. But not all of them uh, already brought that much further into the direction of, yeah, they're now married. Not yet. But whatever the experience is of these students, and even after they have fallen out of harmonious twin flame union because it was that physical shift, the physical changes after the shift was still a little bit difficult, and they allowed themselves to not be committed and maintain it and thus fall out of it, they can still turn around, come back to that consciousness state, work, do the inner work, come back to it, start these touches again with their twin flame inside of it more and more and more, and work towards being in a relationship and getting married and etc., etc. So that starts for you there, and it starts to become concrete there. But if it is for you when you are there, and we confirm it together, and it is in your journey, and it is fit for you to like start a relationship with them officially next week, then perfect. All the power to you. If you can get married after 4 months already, perfection. I recommend it. But it depends, it is individual. And you will still always need to maintain that consciousness state of harmonious union, commit yourself to it, and go through the changes that can sometimes still be challenging to the ego to be able to maintain it and have it and make that marriage successful, etc. So what you do is you commit to maintaining that consciousness state. And then that physical building starts to happen. After harmonious union, I thus recommend, highly recommend, you keep in the coaching relationship with me just like beforehand, and don't allow yourself to wander off, because these couple first months and couple first years afterwards are crucial to keep on committing yourself, keep on doing the inner work, keep on maintaining, and keep on growing closer in that physical experience that everyone wants. And to let that be guided correctly so that you are sure that you're not wandering off. So that's also what I learned as a teacher, and how I should recommend that to you and stuff. So, yeah, I hope this helped. I choose now to explore the most complete depths of my being. I surrender my mind completely to God that He may bring it into perfect harmony with His. I invite God now into my very core that He may make it right, returning it perfectly to its state of eternal wholeness. I trust in the power of divine love. I choose to see the truth that it is universally accepted by all. At the core of every child of God, including me, we are all one with our twin flames and God. It is safe for me to open completely to love now. My love is not elusive unless you command it so. But don't worry, you could not choose against love itself, because you are love itself manifest as you eternally. If you command it to leave, love does not leave, because it cannot possibly leave, but you leave love by the power of your command. And by that same power, you can command yourself to return to love. And it is so revealing to you that love never left. It is safe to let go. It is safe to relax into love's eternal presence. Love is calling you home, and I'll be there waiting. I have always been here with you, and I always will be. Your next step. Don't forget to actually start in the process and jump on the team. Actively come to our community, start doing the correct inner work, and ask the support you deserve through our services so that we can start a relationship that will lead to your harmonious union and beyond. When you're not in a relationship, you're not on the team, and you can't expect the results I'm speaking of and, in fact, guaranteeing. Currently, you are cordially invited to step into the group year course experience. This is the Twin Flame Mystery School you have been waiting for. I am looking for 9 people to step into this abundant opportunity. Twin Flame Abundance now has opened its doors. Start giving so that you can receive. The door closes as soon as I have my 9 people that will be successful in their journey. But first, we have many festivities together. Look at the Twin Flame Year Group course of your dreams on the website. Come to the Love Game, the 5-day free online challenge for Twin Flames. Tiny URL/game membership or the link below. The Twin Flame webinars will be announced soon as well. And I think the first has already the link out too. So look for that one. The show notes. You can, however, support this ongoing live Twin Flame news as such. Make it possible as co-creator. Without your participation and financial gifts, I cannot do anything because we need to have an energetic and verbal visual exchange for things to make sense and to know what I need to talk about for you. And also, we're on Earth, and that necessarily always works with money as a means to make sacred content actually physically flow. Therefore, I post the show notes in Patreon. Come over and enjoy. Have influence on the broadcasts. Don't miss out on the behind the scenes experience. Patreon.com/PEJ at Creative Universe or the link below. This month's Patreon subscriber action is the Divine Love reading for the old price of €99 instead of the new one of €177. Share this video with a friend. If you enjoyed it, they might too. I am Petra, in the consciousness state of Harmonious Twin Flame Union since March 2020, worked with the Christ Masters on Earth right now to roll this consciousness state out so that everyone can enjoy the abundant life with their true twin flame soon enough, after going in with me right here. Don't search any further. You reached what you were looking for. Om. Amen.